Gino Pittis Adventures. I'm still Gino. And you really want to live in Colombia? With some things you need to know. Every year, just like in the United States with the Social Security increase, or COLA, I believe it's called, cost of living, uh, Colombia has increases their minimum wage. And this year, the minimum wage has increased to 1,300,000 pesos, which is about $295 a month. And so you're going to need three times that. And it's about 880, 885, $890 a month. So if you're there in the range of at $900 a month, you will qualify. And you have to be careful because it changes every day. And sometimes it's 4,400 to one, and sometimes it's 4,600 to one, and sometimes it's 4,300 to one. So depending on what the exchange rate is for the day you put your visa in, is going to be relative to if you make the requirement or not. What you need to know about that is, in order to have a retirement visa, you have to have provable income of over three times the national minimum wage. So a sad story is that I had a gentleman come down here, I had already sold all his stuff and showed up, and I was helping him out. I had no idea he hadn't checked the stuff out. Uh, and lo and behold, when he ran the numbers, he was $56 short of enough income. And out he was only making 903 or $4 a month, and at that time the minimum wage, three times the minimum wage, turned out to be like $959. He missed retiring in Colombia after he sold all of his stuff, came down here, found a place to live, was just ready to pull the trigger, and he found out he couldn't get his retirement visa because he was $56 short. Could you imagine? $56 short. Oh my God. And it really freaked him out. But if he would have just calmed down and waited around about, it was less than 25 days that the peso was up high enough that he could have applied and been within the reach of the three times the national minimum wage. So I wanted to bring that to your attention because it's really, there are these little tricky little things that they do like that you don't think much of, and people don't know what you need exactly. So it's really good to do your research, and it's really good to hire an attorney to help you get your visa if you want to do that. And there are other visas that you can get too. You can get a nomad visa. You can marry a Colombian, which is a lot easier to do than you might think. And it makes getting a visa a lot easier also. Um, and now the new thing is there's been I don't know, I don't even know how to put this, but there's been a lot of expats come down here because the healthcare is so cheap, and have actually abused the system, and Colombia's not really happy about that. So Colombia changes their laws as the wind blows, and it'll make you a little crazy, but all in all, it's a beautiful place to live. You can still, after you get here and you get your visa, whichever kind you get, you can live on, if you own your own place, you buy your own place, you can live on under $400. If you rent a place, you can live for 700, $800 a month. A single guy, a couple can live quite well on $800 a month out in rural Colombia. Now, if you're in the big city like Medellin or Bogota or Cartagena, it's going to cost you more money. And then I have people talk to me about, well, what about the taxes? Well, what about this? Well, what about that? And just so you'll know, I'm not an accountant. I mean, I'm sure not an accountant. I'm sure not a tax attorney. But there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. And I really wouldn't let their tax laws freak you out. It's, like I said, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. So just FYI, the minimum wage went up. That means it's going to cost you more money to get a visa and probably be a little harder. And also, they're scrutinizing the healthcare, but it's still so much less expensive than the United States. It's still worth it. So with that being said, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, shoot me an email. And remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. And is it worth it living in Colombia? You bet it is. Is it crazy just like any other country today? Yeah, it's got its craziness going on. But where I live is really safe. And for the most part, Colombia is safe. There's people that'll steal your cell phone. There's people I don't know. I've been here a while, and I've never been robbed or approached to be robbed. So anyway, it's as safe as anywhere. So God bless. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be sure to get back to you. And have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on the flip side.